Hello everyone. Let's learn how to graph the quadratic equation. This is the first video of this series. We will start by learning the basic characteristic of a parabola. What is a parabola? The parabola is the name given to the shape of the graph of the quadratic equation, which looks like a U or an upside down U. In this video, we will discuss about the parent function of your quadratic equation, how the value of A decides the orientation of your graph, what is axis of symmetry, what is the vertex, and what are minimum and maximum values. Y equals to ax square is the parent function of the quadratic equation. We have already discussed the standard form of a quadratic equation when we were factoring the quadratics, but the basic parent function is written as y equals to ax squared, and the value of a cannot be equals to 0. The simplest form of the parent function is y equals to x squared, where the value of a is 1, and I have used Desmos graphing calculator to graph this. You can see that the graph looks like a U. Please notice that when it looks like a U, it takes a dip at the bottom. I have also graphed y equals to negative x squared, where the value of a is negative 1, and you can see that this graph looks like a upside down U. Since it looks like an upside down U, instead of taking a dip, it reaches a peak, it reaches a maximum value. When you graph a lot of quadratic equations, you will come to know of a rule, which is when the value of a is greater than 0, which is when we have a positive a value, the graph opens up and the bottom point is known as the vertex. And when the value of a is less than 0 or a negative value, then your graph turns upside down, it opens upside down, and the value of the peak, the name for the peak is again the vertex. So vertex is your bottom point for when the value of a is greater than 0 and the graph opens up, and the vertex is the peak value when the graph opens upside down. So the vertex here is, for both of the graphs, you can see that the value of A has only changed their orientation. One graph opens up, the other one opens upside down. It has not changed their vertex, and it has also not changed their width. The coordinates of the vertex in both the cases are 0, 0. And we can learn more about the graph from just the coordinates of vertex. Axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry. It is a line that passes through the vertex, and it divides your parabola into two exactly symmetrical halves. How do we find axis of symmetry? Axis of symmetry is the x coordinate of your vertex, which in this case is 0. So then what does the y value of the vertex decides? If the value of a is greater than 0, your graph opens up. Then the lowest point where it takes a dip will be the minimum point. And that minimum point would be the y coordinate of your vertex, which is again 0 in this case. When the value of a is less than 1, your graph opens upside down, but again the y value would be your maximum point. So this is a minimum point case, and in that case you get a maximum value. We can sum it up by saying the coordinates of your vertex, the coordinates here gives you the axis of symmetry, And in this case, in the graph that you can see, the maximum value of your, which is the y value of your vertex. Since the axis of symmetry divides the graph into two exact symmetrical halves, you can see that the points on the left and on the right side are reflection points of each other. They are equal distant from they have the equal distance from the axis of symmetry. In the next video, we will learn how to use input versus output tables to graph the quadratic equation on our own without using the Desmos graphing calculator, and also how to use the vertex form to graph a quadratic equation. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.